is a nice canister holder, galvanized. It was from Home Goods. Got some stickers still. Got some age to it though. I'm going to be painting it, y'all. $10.49 may seem expensive, but wait, there's a surprise inside. There's 2 of them. Isn't that awesome? Rusty crustiness. Lots of stickers. Lots of stickers. So let's get these stickers off. Oh goodness. The original stickers off. Look at even the security. The security thing's still on there. Heat gun works, blow dryer. Definitely rusty crusty. See, it does. Even soaking them in hot water would work too, but even though I use the heat gun to get them off, I have a little bit of lemon oil. Some people like Goo Gone. I like the smell of lemon oil. It still leaves a sticky behind, especially when they've been on there that long. And even if you sand it, you're just going to smear the glue around. So I just take some lemon oil. Like I said, it smells good. So I am going to be painting these, and it is actually nice that they're kind of patinaed, but I am going to sand them a little bit more just to give my paint something to grip onto. It's actually not a tight fit, but I'm not going to be painting this part of the canister. Help me, help me. See, it still fits. It still fits. It does. Trust me, it fits. There. To clean these off, I'm just going to be using some rubbing alcohol. I've already sanded them. We're taped. It'll get the sanding dust off and any residue left behind. I want to paint these, but when you paint it, it's just paint sitting on top of metal. So I've sanded it, I cleaned it, and now I'm going to do some spray shellac, 2 coats, let them dry in between. Usually takes about 5-10 minutes in between coats for it to dry, to give something else for my paint to grab onto. Yes, I have 3 different colors. Though for this, I'm going to mix all 3 of these together. So I'm actually going to make up 2 different colors for these canisters. I'm really kind of into the creamish and kind of like yellowware with the green accents. So I'm going to 2-tone these canisters. I had just been thinking about that, and then I ran across these canisters. So we are going to make a cream with a little bit of a yellow to it. Milk paint is you can make up custom colors. So we're going to go in. Of course, our main base is going to be the white, the flour sack. So I'm going to do 4. This is a tablespoon. Then I'm going to go in with some hollandaise. I'm going to do half of that, and then 1/4 of the soup case. It's just a guesstimate. It's not exact science. So just enough to have a little bit of a yellow base, but not be stark white. So now for my green, I'm going to do in a pickle, and I think pantry door. So we're going to go ahead and do 4 of this. And then 1 of pantry door just to lighten it up a little bit. Actually, maybe I didn't want to. I wanted it to kind of be kind of a bright green, so 5 and 1, you know, you play with it until you like it. Now I will add my water. I want it to be a little bit on the thicker side so that it doesn't just run down. Probably one of my favorite things about Sweet Pickins milk paint, or milk paint in general, is the idea that you get to custom color for what your vision is in your head. How many times do you think, oh, I wish I had that color, and then you don't? But if you have a whole bunch of different milk paints, because you can't make a decision when you're placing an order like me, that you can make a custom color. It's funny how different pigments act differently. And actually, I don't want all the paint to stick completely, so I'm going to take a little bit of Sweet Pickins beeswax. So that goes. Okay, so I've got the green and I've got the cream. The cream is going to go in the middle, run terribly on me. And we're just going to go ahead and start getting it on. It's nice because it has little lines for me to kind of have a guideline. I could be completely off my rocker. It's just paint if it doesn't work. The thrifted Goodwill item. You know how that is. You see something, you get motivated, and you're like, I want to recreate that. It was a canister set at an antique mall, and I'm like, and it was priced up there. It very well with the chippiness and the two-toned. I'm like, can I recreate that? And then I ran across the canister set. I call those God wink moments. Thank you. It's the little things. May not seem too big to other people, but so now we're going to go over to the green. And as you saw, I left the ring in the bottom. So we're just going to tap that in. That my green's not quite as thick as what my cream is. I'm going to put my top on. Remembering to do some of the wax. That's the big step. I'm going to do cream. And onto the knob too. Whatever sticks is what sticks. Get where you guys can all see. And I can see. So yep, right up on that top lip into here. I'm just going to tap that. We got some beautiful crackle, crazy. Whatever it is what it is. I want to sand it, but I want to seal it in first before sanding it. So I'm going to seal it in with some weather defense. I cricketed out flour and sugar for the canisters. I did a nice chunky kind of squarish font. Going by my memory, I think that's kind of how it looked. Or this is how this one's gonna look. Should have took a picture. It's all good. I'm just going to line not with my cut, but with my letters, because it's not so straight on my cut. I'm cutting the vinyl. make it look like it's all been there. Look at, oh, pretty amazing. I don't know if the wax did anything or not. you, you never know. Okay, so I think I'm going to measure off like from the line. I'd like them to both be in the same area. So 2 pieces of the tape. And then bump my little transfer right up there. It's kind of helpful. And I use the removable vinyl. But I'm looking for the perfectly imperfect, so if anything happens, it's all good. Oops, like that. Ta-da. So I'm actually going to use a base of gold and then decrepit dust. I've done it before. It seems to work. So I'm just going to get that on. I do not recommend adding heat, only because sometimes it leaves sticky behind. And then you get a whole nother problem. So learn my lesson there. Don't add heat. I'm just going to take some of the decrepit dust. It's not going to stick to where there isn't any paint. I'm going to take my stencil off and then seal it back in. That way I don't, because sometimes like you seal it in with the top coat and then you get this coating that kind of connects the stencil and the paint that you just put on there. And if I wouldn't have sealed it first, I may not be able to, I may be just taking my paint off. All these things you learn by trial and error. And that way, if we have anything we want to clean up, nothing's sealed in. Just some water. It's just water on there. Spray it in. I'm going to start off by hand sanding it and see what happens. If I need the electric one, I will go ahead and do that. Milk paint is stronger than you think. Okay. I don't need that much of a workout. So I think I have it sanded the way I want it. Look at that big old chip. I found my motivation picture. I found something similar anyway. So shaded. It looks like maybe that was spray painted. It's my favorite ones that had the class, but I'm happy. I think it's good. So now we'll dirty it up a little bit with some Sweet Pickins oil wax. It might not be everybody's vibe, but it's fun to play. That's the whole point. It's fun to do, and it's safe to do the same old, but it's also fun to run with the inspiration and think, you know what, I'm just going to go for it and give it a try. Could I go in with some dark and decrepit in the rust spots? Yeah, but I'm not going to. They are wood though. So Hobby Lobby candlesticks. Not really necessarily a fan of the metal piece on here. $3.49 a piece. They didn't sell them as a pair. And I kind of would like to make them into risers, but they're too tall. So as cool as they are as candlesticks, I'd like to put like a top on it or a top on it. I keep adding. Too tall, too tall. So I need to figure out a place to cut it. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna do it. So I'm not even sure how this is on here. So I don't necessarily want them to be like this pair, matching pair kind of thing. So I'm just going to guesstimate. It's solid wood. I'm surprised. 2 different sizes just because we wanted to have them tier. I think that's a good base. I think I cut straight. We hope. Let's get that Hobby Lobby tag off. What to do, so you have this, and it just doesn't seem like enough base. It seems like it's just would be top heavy, which is not. But then they also have this little biscuit. And so I think that I could do the 2 together. And I think that it kind of match the bottom, though I'm not I don't use a router or anything. I use a sander and make it all good. But so this is Hobby Lobby's little, I think they call them like trophy mounts. I don't know. Raw pieces of wood. It always tends to leave like sticky residue behind from the Hobby Lobby. I know, I wish they wouldn't. I know you have to skew things, but I'm like, oh, can you come up with a different, because even if you just peel it off, it still leaves sticky behind, and if you try to stain them, it's weird. Before getting them glued up though, before getting all these pieces glued together, I do have 2 of the rounds, 2 of the little decorative pieces. I'm going to sand them. If you follow me long enough, you know I don't like those sharp edges, so I have to round them. I was all excited thinking that they were real wood. Like this part is real wood, and then these little pieces are all MDF. Oh, they're all MDF. Yep, that's how that goes. So we're going to go ahead and get these glued together. This is where I wanted to make sure that we were level. I think that it is. I think that we're good. So I'm going to take some wood glue. It's going to be covered up. You're not going to see it. You're not going to see it, but I just feel better knowing that it's going to be secure. The good thing about press board, it is heavy. And then we're going to add our next piece, the decorative side down. And then shoot some more brads in it. 2 is good. 20 is better, right? Right? Yeah, I think that looks good. So I have some of the Daz air dry clay. So I think it's supposed to be for molds, but I use it as wood filler because it goes in really easy. It dries in really fast. And it's a wood color. So where I put all those little brad nails, even though I think once we paint it, we weren't going to see them anyway, but it just makes you feel better to fill them in. We have raw wood, we have MDF board. I'm going to prime this with some shellac, but I'm going to brush it on. That way I can get a little bit heavier coat. when you spray it on, it's such a fine mist that you really need to do two, but brushing it on gets a little bit thicker coat. Like the color choice now. I think I'm going to do one apothecary and then do some distressing on it, which is the DIY's chalk paint. Just sometimes MDF board and the crackling of milk paint. It's okay, but who does not love apothecary color? It's pretty awesome. And then depending on how you sand it and how you finish it up is how it's going to look. Do a little spray, spread it out a little bit. I'm going to do White Swan. Where's the, do I have a label? I don't know. White Swan, DIY. Paint's getting down there, so it's getting a little thick. But I'm going to get it on first, and then I'll mist it with some water, and that'll smooth it all out. That's one of the amazing things about DIY paint. Spread that out. One thing about DIY paint is it distresses extremely easy, whether you're wet distressing it or you're sanding it. So I'm going to seal it in first with weather defense. Yeah, protecting that MDF board. Okay, I'm going to do some dark oil wax, but I know it's going to take this white really dark, so I have some Fusion's clear wax next to me to control. So where I opened up from sanding, where I sealed it in with the clear coat, it's probably going to take darker. So I'll just take some of that clear wax and go in and just play with it until you're happy. Whether it's a drawer or it's a cubby, I see it as a little shelf. Solid wood. You can see the screws. That's okay. But my idea is to put some of this scalloped. Put some wallpaper back here. Put a couple little scallops to give it that kind of cottage core type of look. Super shiny though. Super smooth. So I need to try to rough it up a little bit. Definitely super shiny though. Nice heavy, probably I would think an oak. I'm not an expert. So I don't really have to worry about the back too much sanding it because I'm going to be putting some wallpaper on there. I'm going to clean it with a little bit of alcohol. It's not like it's terribly dirty, but I just want to get the sanding dust off of it. Yep, I did tape off the back, the areas that I don't want to paint. Okay, we're all prepped now, and I'm actually going to go in with Bayberry by Fusion. I don't need to shellac or prime this because this is a primer, paint, and top coat all in one. And I'm matching it up with some some wallpaper that I got off of Walmart. They pair together well. Now I'm not going to attach the scallops till afterwards because I want to get this all painted. Then I can attach them after I get the wallpaper in. Just makes it a little bit easier. So I do want to do this little this little rim here. Bayberry's a nice color, and then it's always sold well for me. They actually make it in a milk paint form also, but I'm out of that, or I would have probably used that. You know, I like myself some milk paint. I think I forgot to order it. Last time I ordered, I'm like, oh, it's so hard to remember everything. You think you keep a running note tab, but the problem is my mental tab note pad doesn't update as well as it should. It's a very Fusions is a very nice paint. Glides on. Depends on what the type of finish you're looking for. I can be messy because I'm going to put wallpaper over that. Couldn't help it. I had to. I felt the need to spread it around on the bottom. I don't think that would make a lip, but just in case. It's going to paint right over the screws. It's a homemade piece. I don't know how much of it I'll need. I'm just going to paint the whole thing. And I'm watering it down with the hopes to be able to stain it and get it to be that old-timey look that I like. It's a little bit harder to do that with a paint that has a top coat in it. But if I'm able to do it with a milk paint, or if I'm able to do it with a spray paint, like, why can't I do it with this? So, watering it down kind of makes it, especially on this raw wood, a stain. Okay, we are dry. I just let it dry on its own. I want to do some sanding because you know I'm a distressed kind of girl. I want to do that before putting the wallpaper in there and putting the scallops on there. Asked me once why I use so much tape on the back of my projects when I'm not going to paint that area. Have you ever spilled paint on a project, especially when it's raw wood, and now you're stuck with it if you're going to get it off? So I rather not even have to mess with it and just tape the whole area off. If you've never had that accident, then my applause to you. Me, on the other hand, I have had that. So I cut out a workable piece of the wallpaper. And now I'm actually just going to take the box and cut it around the box. It's going to be too big, but I rather work with it that way. That's what it is. So the one thing I am going to do is I'm going to try to cut this in half. I'm going to try to match up my tree. We'll see how that goes. In theory, it sounds good, right? So if I use their nice straight edge, is my thought. The wallpaper is so thick from Amazon. It's so nice to work with. And I'll do a release cut. I kind of push that into that corner there. Do a little mark. Make a little corner cut. And we'll cut off the excess. It's not too bad matching up. So here's the thing. Do we put them down like this? And then you put your yummies so you can see your yummies? But as you see, it doesn't. Yeah. That I knew was going to happen. It was not going to line up completely. So yeah, put the scallops on the top and then you can put your stuff on the bottom. If you do it on the bottom, then it's covering up some of your stuff. I'm going to take a little Tite Bond glue. Tite Bond glue. Pick my spacing. And I'm going to use staples because sometimes this is so thin that brads will just go right through it. For this one, I'm going to use CA glue because there's not really anything for me to glue or, staple into. So there again, I got to be careful here. CA glue has an activator that helps it dry. Applying pressure, it takes like 15 seconds. A couple. The little staples, I was using some of the Daz air dry clay in the wood. I have to touch up the sides anyway from where I'm going to be cutting it. But we got the biggest part painted. This is such thin wood, I'm just going to take my Japanese saw and cut it. Sometimes the bandsaw and other things will just rip it to shreds, so we'll just go gingerly and do this. Minimal to touch up. Very gingerly, I'm going to go in with some oil wax. I don't want to get too much of that on the wallpaper. But I'm hoping it would darken this up a little bit and give it a little bit more patina.